Hello Year 3 and welcome to Tuesday's Maths. Change of scene for me in my stepson's bedroom with some Star Wars in the background. So let's get started and continue with our Roman numerals. Yesterday did some practical work, which is really good, making your own clock and starting to show the time on that clock and recognising the different Roman numerals up to 12. So well done on all the practical work that you did yesterday. Today we're going to put some of that into practice and start reading and writing the time with numerals on a clock. So it's a kind of a repeat of what we did last week and a revision of what you've learned about time. But obviously we've got to take into account that your analog clocks will look different this time round because they will have different symbols on. And they are the symbols that we need you to know. So let's get our brains into gear with a little starter. It is not a 5 a day, so it looks a bit different, but we're going to treat it in the same way. So I'm going to ask you to open it up in a moment. I'm going to get it up as well. And what I would like you to do is have a pencil ready. We are going to spend no more than 10 minutes, so you can pause the video and get your starter done, and then play the video and we're going to mark it together. So what you should have, and I don't want to make the mistake of showing you the wrong thing again, because I've done this video once already and realised after watching it I had shared all the wrong work. So this is what it should look like. Math starter with the date on for today, and you've got a little grid here and some questions. Now they're not trick questions, just read the grid carefully so it goes across like this. Okay, so pause your video now, do as many as you can within 10 minutes and then come back when you're done and we will mark it together. Good luck. Okay, so you should have got that done now. Now remember, if you haven't printed it out, that's fine. You could have just written this down on a piece of paper, but do make sure that you've got your short date on and call it Math Starter so that when we do return to work, and no doubt you'll bring all of the work that you have been completing, at least we've got it dated so we can maybe put it into some kind of order. So yeah, always put your short date on the work that you're completing. So using the grid here, we're going to answer these questions. So question number 1, how many hours are in one day? Now, if I go up here and find one day and then go across, I can see that in one day, there are 24 hours. So that's your first point if you wrote 24 hours. Well done for reading the grid correctly. Nice and easy to start with. Okay, next question. How many minutes are in 1 hour? Again, look up at my grid. 1 hour, go across. 60 minutes is what you should have popped in there. Again, nice and simple. We're not trying to trick you. These are facts. These are things you need to know in your memory bank about time. So it's just a good revision to go over them again. Okay, down here, how many days are in a week? Now, you shouldn't even have to look at the grid for this. I should hope that you know this. But if I go up here to 1 week, there are 7 days in a week. Just type that in there. Give yourself another tick if you got that right. Well done. Okay, how many minutes are in 2 hours? Well, 2 hours is not on here, but 1 hour is. So if I look at 1 hour is 60 minutes. I need 2 of those because I need 2 hours. So looking at 60 minutes, so it's double 60. It's quite a big number to double. So I'm going to take off the 0 and I'm going to make it 6, double 6. What's double 6? Well done if you said 12. And then if I pop the 0 back on, that gives me 120. So in 2 hours, there are 120 minutes, doubling the minutes. Well done if you could do that without having to take the 0 off. Very impressive. Perfect. Okay, next question. How many days are in 2 weeks? Now, 2 weeks has got a special name. We call it a fortnight here. So you may hear people saying, I'm going on holiday in a fortnight. That means that they're going on holiday in 2 weeks' time. So how many days are there in 2 weeks? Well, it doesn't say 2 weeks anywhere here other than over here. How many days? So if I go to 1 week and I can see that there are 7 days in 1 week, which we've already answered, I need to know 2 weeks. So to find that answer, I'm going to double 7. And if double 6 was 12, what is double 7? 7 times 2. Well done if you wrote 14 days. Well done. That is the answer. Give yourself a mark if you got that one right. Just moving it down. My wonky mouse. There we go. Okay, next question. How many minutes are in half an hour? So half an hour is not listed on here. So now I've got to look for 1 hour. There it is. And I need half of this. So it's the opposite of what we did before. So I'm going to take off the 0 to make my life a bit easier and find half of 6. Half of 6 is 3. Pop the 0 back on. There are 30 minutes in half an hour. And we should know that from reading the time last week, because we knew that 1/2 was the same on a digital clock as saying 30. Okay, last one. How many seconds are in 2 minutes? So up here, I've got 1 minute, 60 seconds. I need to double that again. So the same as what we did here. How many minutes in 2 hours? So I'm going to double 6 again, which is 12. Add the 0 back on, giving me an answer of 120 seconds. There we go. Now you can see that I've actually put on all of my answers. I have added on the time value. When you're answering a question, whether that be about money or time or measurement, it's really important that you always record what the measurement is that you are answering, because when you come to do assessments or a bit later on in your life when you do exams, sometimes if you miss off your time or your measurement off the end of your answer, you can miss a mark. So it's really important if you're answering and it's not just a number, it's a measurement of time or a measurement of an amount of money, try and add those on. Really important, and it's quite a good to get into practice of doing that now. So you can see I've added on all my time intervals here. So I'm going to say, if you added your time interval on the end, an extra point for every question you did. So it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 questions, but you could have got yourself a score of 14 marks there if you added on your interval of times like I did. Now, I don't think many of you would have done that, so it's a challenge for next time we do something like this to make sure you add those on. Well done. Let's get started on today's lesson. So today we're going to continue with our Walt to read and write the time using Roman numerals, and we're going to do that today by starting with a learn screen on Education City. So if you log on to Education City after this video and go into My City, you will see there is an activity called X marks the time. I'm going to go through it with you now very quickly so I can just talk through a few things with you, and then you can re-watch it if you feel the need to or not before your activity, but it is there for you to have a look at on Education City. So you can either do that for this lesson or at a later date. So if I just share the screen, and I hope I can get it up now, see if I can find it. I think if I'm right, here it is. Okay, so this is what it looks like. X marks the time. So just have a little listen and I'll pause it if there's anything I need to add.
An analog clock uses an hour hand and a minute hand to tell the time. The hour hand is the shorter hand and tells the hour of the day, and the longer hand tells the number of minutes past or to the hour.
So this is everything that we learned last week when we were learning about telling the time.
Look at the table. It shows numbers and Roman numerals. Roman numerals are the numbers that were used in ancient Rome, which used combinations of letters from the Latin alphabet. The Romans used them to count. Some clocks use Roman numerals instead of numbers. This clock uses Roman numerals. The hour hand is pointing to the XI. The minute hand is pointing to XII. What time is it?
Okay, so if we have a look at what we learnt yesterday, we learnt that the numbers on this clock are the same as a normal clock with the numbers, modern numbers that we use. But XI, the hour hand is pointing at XI, which is 10 and 1 is 11. The minute hand is pointing at XII, which is 12. When it points up there, we know it's o'clock. So this time is showing me 11 o'clock.
The hour hand is pointing to XI, which is the number 11. It is 11 o'clock. tell the time using a clock with Roman numerals, we would read the numbers as if we were reading the numbers on a normal analog clock. We would say 3:15 or 3:15, not XV.
So this is a really good point, and I would hope that none of you would think that we would start reading the time like this if it was on a digital clock. We read the time even on a Roman numeral clock exactly the same way as we would. So we don't then start writing it like this because that would be really confusing. We still write it in exactly the same way that we've been practicing. So it's just a good point to note.
Some clocks do not show the number 4 as IV. Look at Big Ben. It shows the number 4 as IV, like the Roman numerals. But this clock shows it as III. Why do you think this might be? Pause the screen to think about some different possibilities and share your ideas.
So this is something really new to me. I didn't know this until I started investigating it for your lesson. So there are two possible reasons that I found out why some Roman numeral clocks would use this. Now, this is not actually a Roman numeral here. This is the Roman numeral for 4, not this, like we learnt yesterday. So why then would some clocks have this? And I'm going to set this as a bit of a challenge for you. I found out 2 reasons. One reason was to do with what it looked like on the face of the clock. And the other reason was something to do with the Roman god Jupiter. So have a little investigate, ask your parents to give you a bit of a helping hand. Do it after you finish today's lesson. Find out why is it then that they have changed the Roman numeral to look like this. 2 possible reasons, and let me know if you find out. Let your teachers know on Zoom later if you find out what you think it might be. Let me just continue the clip.
As well as clocks, you can see Roman numerals in lots of real-life situations. Look for Roman numerals at the end of TV programs, sundials, or to show publication dates of books. They can also show the order of people with the same name. You might even spot them on some buildings.
Okay, I'll just stop the share there. So that's just giving you a little bit more insight into what we've already learned about Roman numerals on a clock, with a little challenge thrown in there as well. So today, very similar to how we worked last week, in your group still, group 1, 2 or 3, same as last week, you have got a worksheet each to complete, reading the time as you've already learnt, but this time the numbers will be represented as Roman numerals on the clock. Now remember, you've got your list from yesterday and you've also got your own clock at home that might help you when you're looking at the times. So let me just get those all up. So you've all got the same or a very similar worksheet, just differentiated very, very slightly by the times that are on it. So I'm going to start with group 1. So there's your date and your alt. So you've got an analog clock here and you're reading to the nearest minute. Okay, so that's what you were practicing last week. So on here you can see they've written it digitally for this time. So you write the digital times for all of these, looking for the nearest minute. And then underneath here, you've got to put the hands on. So remember, accuracy with the hands, especially to the nearest minute, is really important. Hour hand being short, minute hand being long, and a ruler is really needed here, or something with a straight edge if you don't have a ruler. Okay, so that's what you need to do there. Now, this I'm hoping won't take you very long because you practiced so much last week, but I would also like you at the top of each clock or somewhere next to each clock to have a go at writing this in words as well. So this one here, group 1, bit of a challenge, is 4:36. So we're looking at minutes to the hour now. So remember how I did it last week? I worked backwards, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 minutes to 5. So above this clock here, or if you want to do it on a different piece of paper, 24 minutes to 5 in words. I'm going to write it there. So that will take you a bit longer then to complete that for all those clocks on there too. So it's a bit of a challenge. Group 2, you've got exactly the same worksheet, except you are only looking at intervals of 5 minutes, either to or past the hour. Again, above each clock or underneath each clock somewhere, we want you to have a go at writing this in words. So you've got one quite similar here. We know on this half of the clock, it is to the hour. So we're going to count backwards, 5, 10, 15, 20. So in words, this would be 20 minutes to 5, 20 more minutes until 5. So you write that above here, 20 minutes to 5, and do that the same. Again, remember when drawing your hand, it's really important to be accurate. Group 3, same again for you guys, except you're just looking at 1/2 and o'clock, just as a recap from last week. And I really do want you to write these in words as well for me, guys, above or next to the clock as well. Please make sure you're using a ruler to show these times, and make sure the hour hand is small and the minute hand is long, really. Or you could do them in 2 different colours, would be great. Like the hands that you used on making your own clock yesterday. So yeah, there's your 3 worksheets. So once you finish those, and that should take you a bit of time if you're writing it in words as well, there is an extension for all of you, which is on the overview. So if I just stop the share for this for a moment, and go back onto the internet, if I can just get it up, just give me a moment. So you've got this link on your overview. So this is when you've finished your worksheet. So on here, it is Hickory Dickory Clock. And you can see here, it's got level 1, level 2, level 3. Now, I would say group 1, you are more than able for level 3. Group 2, you might want to challenge yourself with that. If not, level 2, group 2, to start with at least. Group 3, if you want to challenge yourself for your extension, go on there. If not, group 3, start on level 1 and then work your way down if you want to. Okay, so group 3 are going to go here at level 1, group 2, level 2, and group 1, level 3. So swapping it around a little bit just to add a bit of confusion. And you can see here it says children in year 3 can also play using Roman numerals. So I'm just going to go into level 2 here. Now there is a little box here you need to tick before you begin to make the analog clock have Roman numerals. So then what you have to do is choose the correct time, 5 minutes to 2. If he eats it, I think, oh no, did I get it wrong? Oh, I thought that looked more like it was on 5-2 over there than that one. Looks like I was wrong. So yeah, once you've done it, and then it says well done, and you go to the next one, 25 minutes past 3. I think, oh, that's 25 past 2. See, you have to be so careful looking at the hour hand. This one here. There we go, well done, and you go on to the next one. So that's your extension. So you have got plenty to be getting on with today. You've got your Education City Learn screen to look at again if you feel the need to. You've got your group worksheet, which you have to write the Roman numeral clocks in digital time, or draw the hands on in the correct place, and also write it in words. And then you've got your extension, which is an ICT games game, Hickory Dickory Clock. So good luck. This is the last day that we will look at reading and writing the time on an analog clock for now. So we will move on to something slightly different now tomorrow. So good luck with it all, and I will see you tomorrow.